Hey people, welcome to Bethel Brothers Hot Rod. Today I'm going to be finishing up a little bit of the primer on Project Chevy, so stick around, stay tuned.
When last we checked in, I'd been in the bed but didn't do the cab yet. And the main reason is because of some of this. Oh no! I don't have the metal here to replace this today. There's a little bit on the other side too. Joe says he wants to do all that, and he just wants me to do the paint and body work, so I'm going to paint all the way up to the rust line, clean it all out so he could put some new metal in probably this weekend.
Now from time to time I put tips and tricks on these episodes, and if you want to more easily find them since there's so many of them, just type in the search engine Bethel Brothers Hot Rod Paint, Bethel Brothers Hot Rod Welding, and all the tips and tricks videos will come up specific for what you're looking for.
Okay, it's update time. As you can see, I've taken out the mirrors and the emblems on the side, and it's a good thing I did because check this out. Look at this. Oh yeah, oh yeah. So if I had ground right up to that edge, this would have kept peeling out, and eventually it would have shown up around the edges. Plus I saw on here that one of the doofuses, probably my father, where was it? Already was grinding. If you can see it on the edge there, there's the wheel marks. Idiot. Dude, it's 2 bolts, okay? Take it off. So here's the once over. I'm gonna go over it with the grinder, and then I'll come back and show you the difference. So just try to remember what's going on here. Blah, blah, blah. The other side. Now on the rust areas, I'm gonna totally take them down as far as they'll go, all the way to the metal.
One thing I'm going to mention before I start the grinding is, especially on these older vehicles like Sam, they used lead paint back in the day. So use a respirator. Those little dust mask things, don't even put that on your face. Go get one of these. It seals, makes a seal, and you don't breathe that stuff in. What's on Project Chevy is newer paint. They already ground it down, but there's some spots where the original lead paint's on there, so where I'm going down to metal, I will be wearing the mask.
Okay, what I'm doing here is this is where the area was where the mirror went. I'm extending past the area, and then back in here is where I'll start my fade with the sandpaper. So I'm just lightly breaking down all the rough material. Listen when I drag my hand across. Rough, nasty, smooth. So I'm just, whatever is laying up on the body, that's taken off. You have to be careful on the edges. Just a real quick swoop did just that much. So you have to be careful on the edges. That's why I was saying before, sand all the way up to it. Just try to avoid it, but I'm trying to hurry and I'm getting sloppy, so be careful of this stuff. You'll have to end up sanding longer. And don't get up next to the windows. That's bad. Say that for the sandpaper. Know what I mean? Alright people, I've made some progress and I've started to switch to the belt sander. Now before I show you some techniques on this, get a look at all this. Woo! Look at cancer, cancer, cancer. Back here, look at this. They used fiberglass over rust. And for backer, they used dirt. Dude! Ever hear of foam? Stupids. So yeah, I already got a plan to fix all this. And it's gonna be better. So, and it'll look kind of cool too if Joey's pervy to it, so we'll see. Now, what I'm doing is I'm starting to sand over these areas where I've exposed some Bondo, and I know it looks like it's layered, but when you run your hand over it, you barely feel it. And that's what I'm doing with the belt sanders, planing it. And I didn't like, you want to be really careful around any of these rust areas when you're grinding like that, especially with the wire wheel, because it'll grab a hold of these sharp pieces and flick them at you. You know, I'm sorry, Dad, but those guys that did this for you suck. I mean bad. They're idiots. I wouldn't pay them to do anything. They can squirt paint kind of cool, but other than that, they suck. I'm planing these, and I'm gonna show you on like an area like this. What it starts from is like this, and then what it'll go to. Okay, right now I'm gonna target this hard edge and these areas. I'm gonna smooth it down as I go, but just watch as it progresses. And that's what you do. You plane all the way out around it until you get a smooth surface, and then you're going to change grits until it's really super smooth. As you go along, you're going to expose more defects and junk, but you just keep doing that. Alright people, I've made a decision. There's so much Bondo on this hood, I'm going to just take it all off. Now before I made that decision, flipped up the hood to take a look on the backside to see what the problem was, why they use so much Bondo. Typically they're not going to use Bondo in here, and I was right, there's just metal. At one point Pop had a problem with his heat, so he cut these holes out in his hood, and then he made these little scoops that went up on the top. Look really cool actually. It's kind of like Joey did to his K5 back in the day. Anyway, I ran my hand over it, and this is where all that big Bondo chip is, about in that area, and there's really nothing wrong with the metal, man. So he was just Bondoing all that to hide this one little stupid thing, which is kind of cool. If I get down to that, Joey can just drop a piece of metal in there, weld it over the top, and then poof, it's done. You don't need all the Bondo. And Dad used to bitch, his hood's all messed up. Well dude, you gotta bolt it down completely and you gotta shim it right. Stupid. Anyway, I won't insult my dad too much, but it's gonna eat up a lot of time, so I'm gonna have to grind like a mad dog. Don't get the Bondo dust. Okay, I got all the Bondo ground off on this side, and as you can see, there's that dip in there. That's what he was trying to hide. And at some points, I'm not kidding, the Bondo was like this thick. So it took a couple hours. I have to do it to this side too. It's all cracked and gnarly. It's because there's like a half-inch Bondo in there. I think the reason he was doing all that is because the hood's kind of flexy, but there's ways to fix that without Bondo. Alright people, that's going to do it for today's episode. I'm losing time and I got more stuff I got to do. Just remember that I left the tips in the tag words. I was looking out for you. Thanks for tuning in and watching Bethel Brothers Hot Rod. Peace.